Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're taking a look at the brand new Germanium Tumnus from Wampler. Let's check it out. So guys, if you were living under a rock last week, you may have missed the release of the Germanium Tumnus. But if you weren't, you're probably well aware of what this pedal is. Brian Wampler has released a limited edition version of the classic Tumnus Klon clone pedal in this germanium diode variant. So the original Wampler Tumnus is a much loved take on the Klon Centaur circuit, and you know, what we have here is really the same thing with one key difference. Those original Klon Centaurs were made with germanium clipping diodes. Now those are now really hard to come by. So hard to come by, in fact, that Bill Finnegan no longer produces the original Klon, having run out many years ago. Brian Wampler has somehow managed to source a unspecified amount of these germanium clipping diodes, and that's enabled him to release a special limited edition version of the Tumnus with those correct diodes for the Klon circuit. The original Wampler Tumnus replaced those germanium diodes with silicon clipping diodes. It's a very subtle difference, but it is a notable difference, and for the kind of purists that really want that Klon tone without the same expense, germanium really is the only way to go. So this is now the closest that the Tumnus has ever been to the original Klon Centaur circuit. Now the take on this, that these are essentially a Klon in a affordable and attainable package, is somewhat negated by the limited nature of it. These sold out really quick. I saw the videos come out for this on launch day, and Anderton's had already sold out on their website by the time I saw them. I managed to grab one from Guitar because they still had plenty of stock at the time, but within maybe an hour, 2 hours, they were all gone, and I think they were the only two places that were listing them in the UK. I've also checked the Wampler site as well. They're also sold out. I don't know how many of these have been made, but I've seen figures of around 1,000 been thrown around. I don't know how accurate that is, so take that with a pinch of salt. Suffice to say, they are now just as unobtainable as the original Klon. Now, original Klons are going for insane money, and you know, I think we're going to see similar things happen with this. In fact, I've already seen a couple of listings on eBay listed particularly high, but importantly also sold at those prices as well, and I'll put some screenshots up as an example. Now, I don't think you should pay that kind of money for this pedal. It's crazy. I don't think Brian Wampler would say you should pay that kind of money for this pedal either. It's kind of the nature of things. It's unfortunate, but there's not much you can do in this scenario, right? Brian wants to put these out in this format. Unfortunately, the parts are hard to come by and very limited. It's just the nature of the beast. Look, don't pay £500 for one of these on the used market. That is just crazy. There's loads of Klon clones on the market. All will get you near enough to that Klon sound without spending that kind of money. guys, before we get any further, you know the drill. I'm trying to get this channel to 1,000 subscribers before the end of the year. We're a good way there now. We've got about 250 to go, which is really great. But, you know, if I'm going to make that target of 1,000 before the end of the year, we need that final push over the 250. So if you are enjoying the video and you like the content on the channel, please do hit that subscribe button. If you're already subscribed, like the video, share the video, all that good stuff. Really appreciate it. Cheers. Alright guys, on to the pedal. So one of the things that makes the Klon circuit quite unique is the drive knob. What we've got here is actually two stacked pots, and as you increase the drive, you're actually dialing out the clean signal. So you're dialing in more drive and dialing out the clean, and vice versa depending on how you set the knob. So that's one of the kind of more unique approaches and what makes the Klon circuit a little bit more interesting. So obviously the Germanium Tumnus is replicating that, it's doing it in the same way. It's really quite a simple pedal. You do just have that drive knob, you've got a tone knob and a volume. There's not an awful lot else to kind of go through. What is cool about this is the limited edition finish, so they're calling it Alien Silver, and you've got anodized red knurled knobs as well, which is different from the original Tumnus. Now the Klon circuit can be used in lots of different ways, but one of the more popular ways to use it is as a clean boost. Now the irony of course is that with the drive quite low, you're not really actually engaging the clipping circuit due to the way that stacked pot works. But you know, it's a common way to use the pedal. A lot of people use it that way, and it's actually one of the ways I quite like to use it as well. You can also of course get a lot more bite, and it goes all the way up to really quite a gritty lead sound. So for the demo then, I'm probably going to focus a lot on that kind of clean boost sound on both a humbucker guitar and a single coil guitar, but I also want to experiment with the grittier and more lead based sounds that you can get out of this pedal as well. So check out the demo, check out the sounds, and come back at the end for my final thoughts. thoughts then, guys. I'm going to be honest with you. I've never really been a massive Klon circuit kind of guy. Finding myself kind of preferring blues breaker style overdrives, tube screamer type overdrives, although less on the tube screamer side, more kind of your Boss SD1 sort of thing. That kind of sound. I picked this up for a couple of reasons. It makes for a pretty good video, limited edition germanium pedal, right? But also I wanted to give the Klon tone another go. And I think the approach I've tried to take this time with this pedal is not focusing on the sound that I want to get out of the pedal, but more embracing what the pedal does, if that makes sense. So previously I was looking for a very specific sound, and I think it was probably that kind of edge breakup Marshally type sound that a kind of blues breaker pedal gets you closer to. I don't think the Klon circuit really does that. But this time around I've tried to approach it in a different way and just see what sounds I can get out of it that I like. Obviously I like that edge of breakup tone. Set to about 9 o'clock, maybe pushing it a little bit more depending on whether you're using humbuckers or single coils. I really enjoy that tone if I'm not kind of chasing a particular type of overdrive tone. And like I say, that's what I've tried to do here, is separate out what I like about a blues breaker pedal and what this pedal is doing. The lead tones from this sound really good. If you push the gain to the point where you're getting a really saturated tone, I think it works well. The sounds I don't really love are when you're kind of not quite getting to that saturated sound, but you've definitely got more gain in it than the kind of edge of breakup or clean boost sort of sound. The kind of in the middle sound just doesn't really quite work for me. It's too spiky to be that kind of always on type sound that I like to get out of overdrive pedals. I think it also shapes the EQ in a way that doesn't always work for me, kind of colours the sound in a way that I don't always love. What I am finding though is with my Mariposa, with the humbuckers, setting that kind of clean boost sort of sound with maybe a little bit of drive just kind of poking through, it really brings out the top end of that guitar, which can sometimes kind of disappear without an overdrive or a boost on. That guitar can sound a little muddy at times on the neck pickup, and this just kind of brightens it up and brings it to life. So I think I'm probably going to use this more for my humbucker guitars than I am for my single coil guitars. With single coils, I definitely find that I prefer the blues breaker tone, although I do think there were some very, very usable tones in this pedal as well. Finally, just touching on, what's happened with this pedal since release. This was literally announced, I think, on Thursday last week. I got it delivered on Friday, but before the end of Thursday it was sold out everywhere in the UK. It has already become one of those pedals that you can't now get, so it makes it hard to recommend, because if I recommend that you go out and get this, I'm recommending that you buy it on the second-hand market and give money to scalpers that have bought it just to sell it on. But if you do come across one on the second-hand market at a reasonable price, then it's a great pedal at the end of the day. It's unfortunate that we live in a world where people will just buy this stuff up to be able to sell it on at a profit. But that is the nature of limited editions at the moment. I think it's a bit of a double-edged sword for someone like Brian Wampler. You want to make a more accurate Klon style overdrive pedal. You have little choice but to make it limited due to the limited nature of the components. All that said, I think it's a really nice pedal. I think it's a cool addition to anyone's collection. Like I said, if you can get one for a reasonable price, get one. Don't pay someone £500 for it. That's ridiculous. But yeah, Germanium Tumnus. Definitely one to check out if you can. Well guys, if you made it all the way to the end, thank you so much for watching. And again, if you're not already subscribed, which let's face it, if you've watched the video all the way to this point, you probably already are. But if you're not, do hit that subscribe button. Help me smash that target of 1,000 before the end of the year. If you want to check out some of my other videos, I'll link a couple over here. But yeah, thanks again, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.